Hello everyone, so as I said in the first part, I didn't know there was going to be two parts, so this is the introduction to the second part of the Q&A. If you want to watch the first part, then head down to the description box below and enjoy this second part. The following question is from Memo-chan. So how did you learn Japanese? Any advice for learners? And what do you do in your free time? So the first question, how did I learn Japanese? I don't know if I can really answer that because I'm still a beginner. I'm really beginner, like I'm not even at N5 level. Never claimed to be above that anyway, but I'm still sort of, what I enjoy about Japanese at the moment is really to take my time and explore, and I don't know, I'm in no rush at all. I mean, you know, some people just want to speak a language in like a year or 6 months or whatever, but me, I just enjoyed the learning process so much, and that's just enough to keep me motivated, even though I'm not really fluent. I'm not fluent at all, in fact, but you know, I can get by. I know the basics, you know, in a way, but I really don't have a very high level of Japanese at all. But maybe I'll be able to answer this question in a few months or years. And as for any advice for learners, I think just like for any language, I would just say, just have fun, do whatever you like. Don't necessarily listen to the advice that you hear out there. I mean, I give a lot of advice, but I always make sure that people know it's only one way of doing things, and it's just something, you know, take whatever you like from the advice and F the rest, if I may say, you know. Don't just listen to everything someone else says just because they say it and just because you think they have authority. At the end of the day, it's down to you, you know yourself better than anyone else. So just take the best and F the rest. I think that would be my advice. But my second advice is that just because something is difficult doesn't mean it's not working. It's very important, as that's something I always talk about as often as I can on my videos, is that if it's difficult, it's a good thing because that means you're stepping outside of your comfort zone. And comfort zone is very important because if it's always pleasant, fun, comfortable, you won't make as much progress as if it's something that you do that's difficult, frustrating, or you know, whatever negative emotion. And if you don't really want to make much progress and you just want to enjoy the process, then, you know, sure, do you. But if you really want to make progress, you have to do things that are not always pleasant. For example, me in Japanese, I do my Anki reviews every day. So I do my flashcards every day for half an hour. And it's not always fun. I mean, often it's not super exciting, but it's something that I know I need to do. And it's difficult, it's frustrating because I sometimes forget kanji, but I do it anyway because I know that's the key to success of me, you know, eventually being able to be fluent in Japanese. And what do I do during my free time? During my free time, I play video games. I sing as well. I like singing. I learn languages, obviously, as you can imagine. What else do I do? I sometimes read. And another thing that I really like is documentaries. Boy, do I love documentaries. My friends always tell me, you are always watching a documentary. And I think that's actually true. I just love learning about many things. My favorite documentaries are about food, you know, and like how we feed ourselves, what's healthy, unhealthy, the impact of sugar on our health. I also watch documentaries sometimes on history. I was watching a documentary about Che Guevara recently, and yeah, I just like to watch lots of documentaries. I just find them so interesting, and you learn a lot of things. In fact, what's funny about me is if you meet me in real life, it's very likely that for any conversation I will tell you, oh yeah, watch a documentary about this. That's like a running joke with my friends. That's almost my catchphrase. And then the last comment I got on YouTube was from Come to Japan. So he asked me a question that I answered already, you know, how I got into Japanese. But I just want to say thank you to Come to Japan for always commenting on my channel in Japanese. I love it. I understand like 5% of it, but it helps me sort of practice my kanji because I've learned 2,200 kanji, not to perfection, but mostly. And with his comments, I can sort of try to guess the meaning. And in fact, sometimes I do have, I guess the meaning of his comments, but I always appreciate that it doesn't go easy on me. So thank you, Come to Japan. And now I'm moving on to Twitter, and the first tweet is from Passion for Dreaming. Hello, Angela. And her question is, are you interested in pursuing a PhD? If so, would you want to become a professor or do research? I don't really have any interests in doing a PhD for now anyway, because I feel like after my MA, I did as much research as I wanted to do, I feel. And I think there's that, the fact that I like the theory, but it's not really something I would like to do for 3 extra years on top of that. And then in the years following the PhD, because after a PhD, most of the time I feel you would you stay in research or you do some research. And I don't think that's really what I wanted to do, because I wanted to be a teacher for almost my entire life, and this is what I'm doing now. So I think it's just because my professional goals don't really match with a PhD. Also, I just don't have a research topic that I'd like to research at the moment. So yeah, I think that's probably the reason why I'm not gonna do a PhD, or for now anyway. We'll see about that later. Following tweet is from Maria Inês Teixeira. So what is one of the best things you've ever done for your language learning? The best things I've done for my language learning? Oh, I think that was definitely to watch TV shows. I started watching Desperate Housewives and Heroes back in the days to learn English, and I just loved it. And I think that was the best thing I did. Having the subtitles, starting with French, then English, then without subtitles eventually. And yeah, I think that was the best thing I've ever done. I can't think of anything else. Then she also asked me, what about one thing that hasn't worked at all? I can't say there's one thing that hasn't worked at all, because I feel like anything I've ever done in language learning has been useful one way or another. Like, for example, people always say that learning long lists of vocab is not effective. I think it is true in a way, because there's definitely way more effective methods to learn vocab. But I wouldn't say that it's completely useless, because this is, at least when I was at school, this is the main way I had to learn vocab, and that's helped a lot. I could remember lots of words, but I think I could remember them because I was also trying to use them, and I think that's the key point. If you learn a list of vocab and never use the words, first of all, why did you learn the words if you're not using them? And second of all, make sure you use them, because otherwise your brain just assumes it's useless information, which you're not using, so it will just erase this sort of knowledge from your brain. But yeah, even if it's not the most effective method, it was still useful, because I believe that anything that teaches you even one word or one thing about the language is useful. But obviously you want to go for something that's maybe more effective in many cases. So I lost track of what I was trying to say, but essentially I don't think there was anything that hasn't worked at all for me. Everything has taught me something, I believe. Following question from Polyglot Clay, and I'm not sure why I used a French accent to say your name. Any language learning regrets? It sort of takes me back to the question right before. I don't think I've regretted anything, because I feel like anything I've done in language learning has been useful in one way or another. So that's all I would say for that question. And last question of this Q&A is by Follow Jérémy. Salut Jérémy. So how do you see yourself in the future on YouTube? Do you have any hidden projects? So the first thing I will say is I do see myself on YouTube in the future, and I have many sort of small ideas. So one of the ideas that I have at the moment is to create another channel, but I don't want to say too much, because then people are going to harass me about it. And I don't know when I'm going to be able to do it, because I'm trying to be consistent in terms of my uploading of videos on this channel. So I think committing to another channel might be for a little bit later, but it would be a channel to teach you a language, but I'm not going to say which one. You might guess, but it's not French. But anyway, I'm not going to say more. Another project that I've been thinking about a lot is to create a series of podcasts to teach French, or to learn French, to practice French really would be the word. And I can't really say much about it, because it's all in my head for now. I've got lots of ideas for it, and as soon as it's ready, or as soon as I've got more things to say about this, I will let you know in a future video eventually, if I do updates or something like that. But I'm excited about getting started on it. Maybe that's something I might actually get started on next week. I don't know, I don't want to give any false promises. But yeah, I think that's all I'm going to say for that question, because as I said, nothing is really fixed and nothing is really concrete or not enough for me to actually talk about it, because I could still change ideas or change what I'm going to do in the end. So yeah, I don't know why I'm getting nervous about this question. It's just that I'm both excited, and also I don't want to say too much, because I don't want people to have expectations. I guess that's why. So this is the second and last part of this Q&A. Again, I didn't know how many parts there was going to be, so here we go, me recording this after I finished recording the whole Q&A. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you again for your support, and I will see you later. Bye.